You're watching Liquid Lunch on Newsmax TV. I'm Frank Morano here in New York. Let's go down to Florida where the weather is a lot nicer with the normal host of this show, John Tabacco. John, what's happening down there? John, how we doing? John, let's see what he does when he doesn't know he's on camera. Keep the camera on him. Let's see if he starts picking his nose or something.
Where's the volume on this, guys? Yo. Where's the volume? You gotta turn it up.
John is looking for the volume button on his monitor down there. As you can see, we have only the best state-of-the-art equipment here on Liquid Lunch. We have volume buttons and everything. Oh, now they've brought on a volume consultant to help find the volume button. Something tells me they've been hitting that Chopin vodka a little early in the day. I think as soon as they saw the video that I played of Richard Bay, where John now owes him $1,000, they started hitting that vodka, and all chaos broke loose. All right. Well, can we keep John up there in a split screen? I'll tell people what's happening in the news. Okay, great. We're going to watch John up there as I'll tell you what's happening now. Elizabeth Warren is out there campaigning, and she said she would like to be the last president elected under the Electoral College. Now, I'm not for the Electoral College either. I think it's silly to have an election where the person that doesn't get the most votes wins. But I have to wonder if this is going to be a winning message in places like Ohio, Florida, Iowa, Colorado, Virginia, North Carolina, swing states that have an enormous amount of power primarily because of the Electoral College. And she's going to swoop into these states and say, you know what? You know all that electoral firepower you have? We're going to take it away from you. I don't think that that's going to be a winning message for Elizabeth Warren. When we mix it up with our political panel coming up next, Manny Alejandro and Richard Bay, we'll see what they have to say. And as I mentioned when we began the show, Bloomberg News is now blacklisted from the Trump campaign. I have to think that Mike Bloomberg, the person, wouldn't feel great about a new organization called Trump News covering his candidacy. So I can absolutely understand that. Now, meantime, Vice President Biden is on his No Malarkey tour. That's not my characterization of it. That's what he's calling it. I think it's kind of fun. I think it's kind of charming. I don't know if he really is where the energy and passion of the party is these days, because I talk to a lot of people who are Democrats about Mayor Pete, and I'm talking not just young people, older folks as well, and the enthusiasm behind Mayor Pete is very real. I mean, it's not a media-created thing like was the case with Beto O'Rourke or some other presidential candidates. It's very real. And those of you that are Democrats, I'm sure you're just devastated at the news yesterday that former Congressman Joe Sestak has dropped out of the race for president. Yeah, that was terrible. And then this morning, Steve Bullock, the governor of Montana, who I'd actually forgotten was still running, he dropped out of the race for president as well. So I think that only leaves about 210 Democratic presidential candidates. Well, coming up next, Manny Alejandro is here, Richard Bay is here. We'll get their thoughts on NATO, impeachment, the presidential race, and a whole lot more. We will try to reconnect with John. And a little bit later, Florida's former First Lady, Carol Christ, will join us as well via Skype to tell us what's happening in the Sunshine State. Meantime, stay tuned. We'll be right back with Richard Bay and Manny Alejandro. You're watching Liquid Lunch.